lack this or that you are talking about may actually be endowed with other things that maybe those ones you referred to don't have. So it's a very fluid sort of argument. But for our struggle for this country and as a people and what we've gone through, and rules and choices really build on values also, to be guided by a certain set of values. So for Rwanda, there are values we have espoused for a long time and talked about, things that bring us together as a people, so that one doesn't feel they are left out because of their background or because of, whatever we consider. The other is to aim high, to say, why, if we are human beings, like I was saying, that should be considered equal with others, why should we be limited in terms of what we aim to achieve in life that is better than what we have, yet we have possibilities of raising ourselves to those levels. So we don't limit ourselves to, but your thinking may actually determines whether you rise high or whether you sink, depending on how. So our thinking is that one that raises us to the levels we can go to. I've already talked about the other, where we need to bring in everybody. Unity of our country matters, especially we know what we got from the lack of that. So one is to consider ourselves and determine what we want that is best for us. But we also know there is no such a country or people that form an island and they are detached from the rest of the world. You always want to be part of the rest of the world, even with what you aim for and want to achieve for yourself. You always want to be connected, because also that's where you draw from certain things that make you better. But you have to be anchored somewhere. So we are anchored here in ourselves, in our country, in our people, in our politics. So you have to really make sure that you get things right where you are anchored before you venture outside to embrace others or to have them embrace you. So that's what guides us. And when we are talking about ourselves and what we've gone through and what we want to achieve or what we have achieved, and we always do it in the context of thinking about others other than Rwandans, because we are never an island. But you cannot project yourself outside with others from a very low base or a weakness you have refused or failed to overcome. So it is therefore this formation of where we are anchored that allows us to think of which choices do we make that are going to make us better people going forward every time. Or the rules that must apply to us but originating from us to bring that discipline that will allow us to achieve what we want to achieve. And this is a constant conversation. It's not a one-off thing that you decided one day somewhere and that's it and you keep going. No, it changes. It's dynamic. And we keep even re-examining ourselves and our rules and our choices, whether they were right in the first place or whether they apply in that moment or they are likely to apply in time ahead. So that if you don't find them fitting, then you change them. You adjust them to suit the time and the needs of that moment. So it's that. Well, sometimes people find it complex, and maybe don't even bother to think about it. But in terms of leadership and governance of our country, we need to hold them dear to ourselves and so that we don't lose the grip of things as we should have. We need to have a firm grip on some of these important principles and values. I don't know whether I answered.
Thank you. I just want to do a follow-up question on that. It's been mentioned that your leadership is unapologetically very strategic. But I want to ask, looking ahead, 10 years maybe from today, what is that one more bold move that Rwanda can possibly make to cement its place as a truly global player?
Well, all elements are there. There's nothing new. There's nothing new we're going to invent, but rather derive those things we're going to do from what we are doing already, because with creating a vision, you must have a vision. A vision takes you up to a point, and that is the essence of, therefore, giving value to time. And should you realize that with more time ahead, the world we operate in, or the needs of the people, are going to be different, then you adjust according to that, but you are adjusting from a certain position where you have been already, or where you are. So the strategic thinking or thing you need to do, if it comes, you get to think about it or to know it when it is time for it, to think about it or to apply. Otherwise, you want continuity, you want something to keep growing. That's what growing means. You want to be better today than you were yesterday. And you are thinking of being better tomorrow than you are today. And along that thinking, looking at the cross-section of many things happening, that thing that you need to implement pops up. at that time. But the most important thing for me, associated with your question, you need that continuity. You need that sustainability to keep moving forward and never do well today, get drunk with that, and then you find a few months, years ahead, you really collapse. Don't get drunk with success or with the achievement, but rather that should energize you, that should inspire you to keep going. So for me, my worry is always that of continuity. That's what how do I continue the momentum? How do I keep going? If some moments you can move faster, then you do. But don't go below the speed or the quality at which you have achieved a number of things going forward.
Thank you, sir. Rigoga.
Murakoze, Nyakubahwa Perezida wa Repubulika, nitwa Rigoga Ruth, ndi umunyamakuru wa RBA, by'umwihariko mu biganiro by'imikino. Nyakubahwa Perezida wa Repubulika, mwasobanura mute siporo y'u Rwanda mu myaka 31 ishize, discipline, kwitanga, vision, indangagaciro byafashije igihugu kwiyubaka. Musobanura mute impamvu iyo bigeze kuri sport biba ikibazo? Murakoze.
Yeah. Sinzi niba ari siporo gusa, ariko siporo ubundi siporo ni warebamo ibintu nka 2 cyangwa 3. Icya mbere, agaciro biha n'akahe. What do you want to give? What value? Agaciro biha siporo n'akahe. Icya kabiri, witegura ute? Witeguye ute kugira ngo ku gaciro kabeho cyangwa se gakure kazamuke? Mu rurimi rw'icyongereza ni organization. How do you organize to do that? Icya gatatu ni talent. Ubona mu bantu kuba badafite talent, you can't blame them. If I have no talent for football, really, don't blame me. It's not my fault. So icya mbere ni agaciro biha. Icya kabiri, ubigenza ute, ushyira hamwe ibikorwa n'ibitekerezo gute kugira ngo bizamure ka gaciro, noneho abantu bafite ubushobozi, ubumenyi, ibyo bavukanye bibaha. Ibyo rero nko mu gihugu tugashyiraho minisiteri ya siporo cyangwa za siporo zitandukanye, federation zazo zishyira hamwe n'iki. Iyo ni organization. Itameze neza ni ikibazo. Ikindi, umuco, mujye muha agaciro, umuco ufite agaciro. Umuco mvuga ni iki? Hari n'abantu baba bazi umupira, cyangwa hari na organization ihari, cyangwa abayobora nabo barahari, ariko umuco bafite ndahoraga mbivuga, najyaga mbivuga ku mugaragaro, ugasanga abakinnyi b'umupira aho kugira ngo bakine rwose bashyireho umwete n'umutima ubishaka n'iki, bagatangira gutekereza utuntu bashyira mu izamu kugira ngo iyo bagiye aho ibintu byose uba wabikubye na zero. N'uriya munyezamu ushatse ntiwamushyiramo, kandi niba wizeye twa tuntu wadushyizemo ukamwihorera, urashyiramo wiki. Ibyo rero bigera no ku bantu, ni kamere y'abantu, ntabwo mfite ukuntu nabisobanura bihagije impamvu umuntu yemera iki undi atemera iki, cyangwa rimwe na rimwe no kwemera ikintu ubundi ku buryo busanzwe umuntu akwiye kuba abona ko nta kintu kirimo, ariko umuntu akabyemera. Cyangwa se waba utemeye ibyo ugatekereza ukuntu ariko uzasifura ninde, turebe uko tumugenza kugira ngo ejo azatubere. Iyo wagiye muri ibyo na talent wari ufite n'ibindi byose, ariko ubundi umukino siporo kugira ngo itere imbere ukora biriya bintu nakubwiye, ariko noneho ukanavuga uti okay, siporo habamo gutsinda habamo gutsindwa, kandi muri uko gutsinda no gutsindwa harimo gutera imbere. Ni ukuvuga ngo wagerageje, wakoze ibyo washobora gukora, ahubwo niba wanatsinzwe wavanyemo isomo rivuga ngo ariko urabizi icyo nazize ni iki nakibonye. Umukinnyi nakinishije aho atagomba gukina, cyangwa iyo nzana mundi igihe bikagira bitya, ibyo ngibyo akaba ari byo. Rero iyo watsinzwe uvanamo isomo, ntabwo ugenda ngo wiyahure kubera ko watsinzwe. Imikino yose ntawe udatsindwa, ngira ngo murabibona n'abazwi ku isi b'ibihanganye muri za siporo zitandukanye, haba igihe ibintu byabagendekeye nabi nk'abo nk'abantu, ariko noneho ni timu. Ariko ni ibintu bihoraho rero, bihoraho. Noneho on average umuntu akavuga ati ariko urareba timu iratera imbere, cyangwa kanaka aratera imbere nawe, bituruka mu itimu cyangwa mu muntu utagiye mu bintu bigwe, ugiye mu bapfumu, ugiye mu gushaka ko watugira abantu, cyangwa hari ibindi bibi bakora ntirwa mvuga, kugira ngo ajye mu kibuga yacitse intege, adashobora gukina, adashobora no guhagarara, wamuvangiye imiti. Iyo byagiyemo aho, nibwira rero ko aho tugeze hari abantu benshi, abanyarwanda bafite muri bo talent, kumenya muri siporo zitandukanye. Twashakisha rero ahantu hose, ariko byose bishingira kuba ubanza kwemera uwo uri we. Ntabwo ushakisha gusa ibyo ubona hanze utihereyeho ngo ubanze uvuge utari ko nabigeraho nkanjye, kuko mfite uko nteye n'undi uko ateye bitandukanye, ariko nk'igihugu dufite abantu, timu yacu iteye itya, twayishakira iki, twagera gute. Ndibwira ko bishoboka, ariko ntabwo ari ibintu byizana gusa ngo bibe abantu batatekereje uko babigenza.
Thank you, sir. Munyaneza, hanyuma Jado.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. My name is James Munyaneza. I work with the New Times, and I want to pivot to international matters. Recent developments, different dynamics globally suggest a shifting, or rather changing world order. Do you see a situation where we are potentially moving into a more multipolar world world, and what does this mean for Africa, of course, and for Rwanda? Do you think we are ready? Yeah.
Well, whether we are ready or not, we should be ready. Because even if I tell you, yes, I'm seeing it coming, well, it may not come. But you should always be prepared for what if it were to come, actually. Suppose I even made a mistake in my analysis and assumed it's not coming. Why should I not be actually prepared if I found I made a mistake and actually it came? But what you are saying, as I see, like many other people see it, the world order will always change. It won't remain the same forever. There will be one form of world order today, there will be another tomorrow, or another maybe 10 years after, or 20, or doesn't matter. It depends on many, many things. As we see, we should be educated by what we see. But it also originates from, maybe it's important when you say Rwanda or Africa, it originates from the politics, global politics or geopolitics, how it values things. You know, people will tell you interests. Okay, how do you value your interests? If you are powerful and you have interests, that's fine. But how do you achieve interests? Do you achieve your interests by ignoring other people's interests? Or you value your interests, and in achieving them, you're also at the back of your mind saying you're not alone in this world. Maybe as you pursue your interests, it is important to be thinking about others' interests. So that maybe you find common ground, you are together, you even form alliance, or you do this. But it comes out from saying, yes, my interest, but your interests also. And very often we are going to find that people, or even countries, make mistakes, especially the powerful ones. Sometimes they think they will achieve their interests anyway, whether they consider yours or not. And sometimes somebody will come and say, no, for me, I'm powerful enough, I pursue my interests, and that's it. So I come to you, I say, I want this, don't do it, I blow you away. Well, that may work sometimes. Other times, it has certain limitations. It works only for a certain time. Because there are other forces, there are other powerful groups. But even the least powerful, like us, for us, we don't even come on the list of powerful. But there are certain things, even with my insignificance, you can't force me to do. I said it earlier. There is no power that would come and say, you know what, you must accept FDLR. That one, then I tell you, okay, look for what you're going to do to me, because you are sure I'm not going to accept them. So the multiplicity of this happening here, there, of this, these differences and how to sort them out, and the agreements, the disagreements, keep forming the world order of the day, of the time, globally. Yes, how do these merging powers behave? How do they behave towards others? Because you have also seen there are times when they move together, reach a point, and then they even have a divide among themselves. It's like maybe they discover one of the allies either is taking them for granted, or is cheating them, or is minding only their own business and not yours. So it creates a difference. But that also creates other formations of alliances. If somebody may have to say, if I can't get what I wanted here because somebody doesn't care about me, how about teaming with the other one and actually together put together our strength and also get what we want? So it's very fluid, it's very dynamic, and it works only for a certain period, and as we have seen. But you can see it coming, you can smell it. People can ignore it, because again, once people are powerful, they really start becoming insensitive to certain things. They think they are the only ones who matter. The rest don't. And that is when things start happening even before they realize. Now, but the most important part of your question, Rwanda, Africa, it's going to be difficult for me to explain, because Africa, where we are, is not where we should be. And even more challenging to understand is we have everything to be where we want to be, except ourselves. We somehow we are not there to deliver on what we already have in our hands to be transformed into what we should be. We are absent somehow. I can't explain that. I have no medicine for it. On a smaller scale, therefore, talking about Rwanda, I think you'll never find us not trying. At least we are trying within our limited means and resources to be where we want to be. We are on a journey to being what we should be within that limited space. And if we can work with other African countries, and we try, we can move a needle towards that objective. But it wants more people doing what they might be wanting to do, what we need to do. The more we are together doing what we should do, the more likelihood we get there or get there faster. That's how it is. Mm-hmm.
Thank you,
Let him
Excellency.
finish something that you want to. Uh-huh.
Just on a lighter note, the other day I was speaking to a young person and said something interesting and said, we now have a minister of enjoyment. I was like, what do you mean, Minister Benjamin? So he said,
Minister who?
of enjoyment.
Okay.
And the reference was, Konji.
Okay.
Konji. And I'm like, and then I was like, okay, this is interesting. Okay, was this a bonus? Was this? But then, Mr. President, just put to you, maybe the thinking. What was the thinking? Because this was the first time for additional 2 days, or this is something to be expected going forward. And then finally,
I think you needed it. Sometimes I think I see people stressed and really almost like to drop. So maybe you needed it. But at the same time, this person who you had the conversation with, on a personal level again, if you asked him, let me assume he was complaining. He said, why did they give us these 2 days? If you probed deeper, and asked him, say, by the way, what was your plan? What did you really want to do in these 2 days that you are now not going to achieve because you have 2 days holiday? First of all, you may discover the guy was going to anyway spend the whole morning sleeping. And maybe the afternoon, even if he goes to office, he just goes there and is surfing the internet. It's really not. So for the 2 days, you will find so.